He's not a violent guy who's talking to people on college campuses. Wasn't even particularly rude. Who's tried to be pretty reasonable with people.
Everything I saw seemed reasonable.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
You know, whether you agree with him or don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with him on. That's
Sure.
fine.
Sure.
You're allowed to disagree with people without
Right.
celebrating the fact they got shot.
But you can't disrespect his passion.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
what you're supposed to do with a guy like that, if you're opposing him, is debate him.
Right.
Have a conversation where your argument is more compelling than his.
Sure.
That's what people should be celebrating, discourse. You know, we used to do that.
Do some homework and bring it to
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
know?
horrible.
He was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously.
Joe Rogan just called out Donald Trump, saying Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's second killer, might actually be innocent. And if that's true, then somebody bigger has been pulling the strings from the very beginning. Turns out the story the Fed's been pushing about the 22-year-old who supposedly climbed up high and hit Charlie Kirk with a single sniper-level shot might not be the whole truth. Joe Rogan says there is more. From day one, he wasn't buying the official tale. Said the weapon they showed off looked way too clean to be some antique from World War I.
Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. So a 30-06, so that's the rifle. 30-06 is like, that looks like a very modern looking stock. I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad resolution. It might be wood. It's hard to tell. But if you showed me that and you said, hey, this is my cousin's rifle, is this any good? I'd be like, looks like a standard bolt action rifle, looked like a sophisticated modern scope on it, sure. Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code.
Then he asked the question that flipped the internet. How's a kid supposed to break down a rifle, hide it in a backpack, sneak up, reassemble it, line a 200-yard shot, and vanish without one person seeing him? The street's saying that ain't luck, that's logistics. And maybe, just maybe, some powerful folks helped him.
They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit.
Not gonna fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof? What? What's that about?
Is that what they pitched, huh?
Yeah. And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid backpack. It's literally, it makes no sense.
Now, the loudest person backing Joe Rogan's suspicion, Candace Owens, Charlie's longtime friend, and she's out here connecting dots nobody else noticed. Candace went public, claiming that days before the shooting, a foreign military jet, Egyptian Air Force, she said, touched down in Utah, then took off right after Charlie got hit. She posted flight tail numbers, dates, and even mapped its earlier landings at U.S. bases. In her words, the timeline pointed to a decision made in mid-July and a meeting with foreign leaders that supposedly set everything in motion. She hinted that this wasn't some lone gunner moment, but a coordinated hit involving serious power. Folks fact-checked her fast, pointing out that the plane actually left Utah hours before the shooting. She caught flack for the time zone mix-up, but instead of backing off, Candace doubled down. She wrote online that the debunking looked artificially boosted and that they're panicked about what was discovered. She asked who got dropped off when that jet landed, who was on the passenger list, and why the flight's details vanished right after she mentioned it. She wrote, given the artificial boost of the Snopes-like debunking of the Egyptian military flight, it is clear they are panicked about its discovery. Who were the people dropped off when the flight arrived into Provo? How many people were on the manifest for its return flight on September 10th? So yeah, even when the receipts looked shaky, she refused to fold, calling it a cover-up in motion. Then she dropped something that nobody saw coming, screenshots of a private group chat between Charlie Kirk, Pastor Rob McCoy, and several major donors. In those messages, Charlie vented about Jewish donors, threatening to pull millions after he refused to cancel Tucker Carlson from an event. He texted that he'd already lost a multi-million-dollar pledge because he wouldn't bow out of the Tucker partnership.
Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
The wild part, Turning Point USA's own spokesman confirmed the thread was real.
And I just want to address it head on because, that was a text grab, a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way.
Candace took that as proof of motive. She claimed the money pressure tied to Israel politics created tension that might have led to Charlie's downfall. Then she name-dropped a billionaire donor, Bill Ackman, accusing him of threatening and blackmailing Kirk over his stance. Bill clapped back hard. He posted publicly denying everything, saying he never threatened, never offered money to sway Charlie, never blackmailed anybody. He said their few interactions were friendly and that he was impressed by Charlie's work and will sadly never see him again. That denial only fueled the fire. Candace responded on her show that powerful names don't move this quick unless they're nervous. She didn't stop there. She said one of her sources, a gun instructor with military experience, told her the FBI's timeline of the shooter climbing, setting up, and firing made no sense. The timestamps, she claimed, were off by minutes. The metadata from the witnesses' footage showed movement at 12:22 p.m., just before the fatal shot, not 1:25 p.m. like the Bureau said. According to Candace, that same source insisted the shot described by the feds couldn't have come from that distance. She repeated his analysis. A high-caliber bullet like that would have gone through 7 people. Charlie didn't even have an exit wound. Her words hit cold. He was unalived up close, not from a roof, but from right there.
Okay, and this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there, and I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit, and at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade, right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? We went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, think right, if you're just touching your spine in line with your shoulder blade. That leads us obviously to the part that he's maybe not being forthcoming about. They did not recover a bullet from a .30-06. They didn't recover a bullet from a .30-06. It just didn't happen, okay? It found a .30-06 bullet. Charlie's death certificate certainly would have reflected that.
From there, she built her own chain of doubt. Candace said Tyler Robinson was framed, that he never even set foot on the Utah Valley University campus that day, and questioned why Connecticut FBI agents were suddenly running a Utah investigation. She mocked the Bureau's story about Tyler buying ice cream minutes after the shooting, calling it a planted photo op to make him look cold-blooded. Then she said every so-called witness backing the official version either worked in law enforcement or had family ties to it. According to her, that wasn't coincidence. It was choreography.
There are 2 men that look rather mysterious. They appear, they move his chair, and they take down the camera that's directly or was directly behind his head. Why did they do that? You can see, slowed down here, he pulls out the chair, he stands on it, and yes, that would be a big no-no for a crime scene. You don't move anything. He takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting and would be able to provide, therefore, a lot of insight. And then you can see kind of sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the SIM card from it, or the SD card, if you will.
Then Candace made her boldest claim yet, saying Charlie's own wife, Erica Kirk, might know more than she's admitting. She mocked Erica for posting photos and polished captions while the investigation's still wide open. Erica hit back with class, posting her own statement online. There is no linear blueprint for grief. One day, you're collapsed on the floor, crying out the name Jesus in between labor breaths. The next, you're playing with your children in the living room, surrounded by family photos, and feeling a rush of something you can only attempt to define as divinely planted and bittersweet joy. They say time heals, but love doesn't ask to be healed. Love asks to be remembered. It was emotional, but to some folks, it felt staged, reading more like a magazine spread than a widow's pain. And that's when the theory really caught fire. Rogan's questioning the rifle, Candace's connecting flights and donors, and Erica's calm composure, all of it feeding the same whisper that Charlie Kirk didn't just die. He was taken out allegedly by powerful individuals with the help of somebody close. Now, folks like Joe Rogan and Candace Owens are calling Trump out, saying if Charlie was really his friend, some posthumous presidential medal ain't enough. He should be finding whoever's allegedly lurking behind the scenes, the ones who made this happen. So what do you think? Is Trump protecting someone or just playing politics? And if the truth ever drops, will it expose the whole game? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and click on this next video. It's just as crazy.